Hello and welcome to KXII 12 News Now. My name is Robin Key. It is 12:31 on this Friday, September 26th. Now, thank you for joining us for your midday update. Let's get into your Texoma headlines. New at noon, Durant police say that they've made 3 additional arrests in Sunday's shots fired incident. They say KXII Turner and 2 juveniles were arrested in addition to Peyton Thrash and Carice Taylor. Shots were first fired early Sunday morning towards a passing vehicle near North 7th and Plum. That driver stopped, leading to another exchange of gunfire in the same area. And more shots were fired that afternoon on Northeastern 4th. Police say no one was injured. Yesterday, the city of Dallas held each other as they honored the victims whose lives were taken on Wednesday by the sniper attack at the ICE facility. Earlier this week, we spoke about the Texoma connection to the Dallas ICE shooter. Now, let's talk more about the federal investigation, as the Trump administration has just released new evidence. Investigators say handwritten notes indicating a hatred for the federal government were found and led investigators to believe he targeted ICE personnel and property, even though all 3 victims were detainees. Ed Lavalera has the details.
Inside the home of Joshua Yon, investigators say they discovered written notes left by the gunman who carried out the deadly attack on the ICE field office in Dallas.
The clearest indication of motivation are his own words. He wanted to cause terror. He wanted to harm ICE personnel.
In the notes, investigators say the 29-year-old gunman described ICE agents as, quote, people showing up to collect a dirty paycheck, and also wrote, quote, hopefully this will give ICE agents real terror to think, is there a sniper with AP rounds on that roof? The FBI says these writings outline an extensively planned, targeted attack.
Jan specifically intended to kill ICE agents.
The tragic irony for his evil plot here is that it was a detainee who was killed and 2 other detainees that were injured when he fired into the Sally Port.
One note they say taunted police with the quote, good luck with the digital footprint, as they collected digital devices from his home.
We take this to mean that he deleted evidence from his devices.
But investigators were able to trace some of Jan's actions before the day of the shooting.
He searched for information about the office building and how to track ICE agents' locations. He knew with a high likelihood ICE detainees would be transported that morning in the exact location where he was facing from his perch on a nearby rooftop.
Officials say he legally obtained an 8mm bolt-action rifle just last month and was seen driving around the shooting scene at 3 a.m. with a ladder on his car, which they say he used to position himself atop a building adjacent to the ICE facility. And from there, a few hours later, he opened fire.
Gunshots sprayed the length of the building, the windows, and law enforcement vans that were in the Sally Port area.
Agents from both ICE and the ATF put themselves in the line of fire to move individuals off the transportation vehicles in an attempt to protect and rescue those that were injured.
No ICE officers were hit.
Based on our investigation to date, we believe Jan acted alone. But I'll stress our investigation continues.
Ed Lavandera, CNN, Dallas.
Following the shooting, law enforcement searched several properties associated with John, including one in North Collin County and another in Bryan County. Officials say it was during these searches that they found the handwritten notes, though they did not specify what location. We will continue to follow this story and learn more about the shooter's connection to Texoma. The announcement sending waves through Oklahoma still doesn't have very many answers. We still have no word on why Oklahoma State Schools Superintendent Ryan Walters has decided to resign. Walters announced his resignation Wednesday night on Fox News. He says he wants to lead the Teachers Freedom Alliance, an organization that he has used taxpayer money to promote in the past, according to the Oklahoman. The Teachers Alliance is a support group, they say, for teachers that likes to or has the goal to bust teacher unions. Now, we talked to local school districts about what they think Walters' departure means.
I guess this will give him more of a footprint there and maybe let him live out his aspirations. But to me, it really has no bearing on me. Good riddance, have fun, good luck.
You can see more reactions from other educators on our website. Once Walters officially resigns, the government will appoint a new superintendent to fill the rest of Walters' term, which ends in January of 2027. Grayson County leaders held a town hall meeting last night, focusing on a ballot measure they say is critical to emergency response. County leaders say funding for first responders is drying up, and the best way forward is a 1.5 sales tax that only affects people who live in the county. Sales tax collected from online orders would stay in Grayson County. We've talked about this measure before, but yesterday residents were able to ask questions at the meeting and hear firsthand why officials think that this issue is so important.
This district does not require a property tax increase. It's only a consumption tax. So we feel like this is a better fiduciary attempt at trying to solve the county's problems.
There will be 2 more meetings in October. After that, voters will have the final say. Now, you might see higher numbers in your water bill. This fall, Sherman water prices are expected to increase up to 6% for residents and 9% for businesses. The city says that after a study a few years ago showing rates were too low to support the utility fund, they knew that they needed to raise it. And however, instead of one large increase, the city is spreading the rising rates over several years. A groundbreaking new start. Dollar Tree has broken ground on a new distribution center in Marietta. It comes a year and a half after its former warehouse was ripped apart by a tornado, causing hundreds of people to lose their jobs after the storm. Senator James Lanford says that this groundbreaking bodes well for the future.
They made the decision to be able to rebuild, and the key reason was the workforce that was already here that worked and did a great job. This was the #1 distribution facility for them in the entire country, and they wanted to be able to maintain this facility and continue to be able to grow it. Those 400 jobs plus are coming back again.
The new million square foot facility is expected to be fully up and running by spring 2027 and, like the senator said, employ 400 workers. Now, let's get up to speed with the top national stories that you need to know. President Donald Trump is escalating his retribution campaign with charges against former FBI Director James Comey and threats against liberal groups. President Donald Trump's unprecedented retribution campaign against his perceived political enemies has reached new heights as his Justice Department brings criminal charges against a longtime foe, and he expands his efforts to classify certain liberal groups as domestic terror organizations. Former FBI Director James Comey was indicted by a grand jury Thursday and accused of lying to Congress in a hastily brought case days after the Republican president publicly demanded action. Hours earlier, Trump signed a memorandum directing his administration to target backers of what he dubbed, quote, left-wing terrorism, unquote, as he alleged without evidence a vast conspiracy by nonprofit groups and activists to finance violent protests. So far, Comey says that he's innocent. Now, your wallet might be pressed soon as a new list of high import taxes are rolling out. President Trump is putting import taxes on 100% of pharmaceutical drugs, 50% of kitchen cabinets and bathroom vanities, 30% on unupholstered furniture, and 25% on heavy trucks, all starting October 1st. Trump said yesterday on his social media site that foreign manufacturers of furniture and cabinetry were flooding the United States with their products and that tariffs must be applied, quote, for national security and other reasons, unquote. Trump said that foreign-made heavy trucks and parts were hurting domestic producers. A government shutdown is approaching fast, and the Senate Majority Leader John Thune is blaming the Democrats' health care demands. Thune tells the Associated Press in an interview that he is a, quote, big believer that there's always a way out, unquote. Thune says Democrats are going to have to dial back their demands to immediately extend health insurance subsidies and reverse the health care policies Republicans passed over the summer. Democrats have shown little evidence of pulling back on their threats. Microsoft has disabled a set of services to a unit within the Israel Ministry of Defense. The technology company says that an investigation by 2 news outlets suggested Israel was using the company's clouding computer technology to spy on Palestinians. The August report alleges that Israel's military intelligence unit used Microsoft Azure to store millions of phone calls made by Palestinians in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. Microsoft says it found evidence that supports the elements of that investigation report, but added the review is still ongoing. In response to the termination, an Israeli security official says that there is no damage to their operational capabilities. Speaking of Israel, facing a global isolation at the UN, a defiant Netanyahu says Israel must finish its job against Hamas. Encircled by critics and protesters at the United Nations, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told fellow world leaders that Israel must finish the job against Hamas in Gaza. He gave a defiant speech despite growing international isolation over his refusal to end the devastating war in Gaza, and said Israel wouldn't buckle under the pressure. He spoke after dozens of delegates from multiple nations walked out of the UN General Assembly Hall en masse as he began speaking. Responding to countries' recent decisions to recognize Palestinian statehood, Netanyahu said it would encourage terrorism against Jews and others. Now, obviously, nationwide and international news is very important, but after this break, we're going to bring it back to Texoma. We're going to your community corner where we let you know everything that you need to know to keep up with your community. So do not go away. We will be right back after this short break. A store that's brought Oklahomans furniture for over a century was recognized in a big way yesterday. Sherman's Knight Furniture and Mattresses is receiving the Texas Treasure Business Award from the Texas Historical Commission. This award is given to establishments that have supported the state's employment opportunities and economy for over half a century. Their flagship location has seen 4 generations since 1912.
I'm our 4th generation owner, and so to be able to stand here and represent all the generations that came before me, I feel like I'm accepting an award on behalf of all those guys. A lot of hard work came before me for us to even be here.
This award will join an array of awards that Knight Furniture has already been honored with. An old cemetery, speaking of old things, has been annexed into Denison city limits and will soon be given a historical marker. At more than 150 years old, the historically black iron ore Creek Cemetery is older than the city of Denison. About 50 people are buried there, some with marked gravestones, many just marked with sandstone or iron ore. The city began restoring the cemetery 4 years ago, and on Saturday, the historical marker will be placed. The State Fair of Texas opens today in Dallas. Keep in mind, there's now a clear bag policy in place, but the bag can be any size, and then starting at 5 p.m. daily, anyone under 17 must have a parent or chaperone with them. But despite the new security protocol, which of course obviously is appreciated, gates will open at 10. gates opened at 10 this morning. Now, we will have live coverage from the fair this Monday as our own Olivia Thompson visits the fairground. You will not want to miss it. Make sure to tune in Monday to all of our morning shows, our noon, and of course, right here. But the Texas State Fair is not the only way you can spend your weekend. The Central Plains Regional Rodeo is off to the races in Bryant County. This is a 3-day college rodeo at the Durant Riding Club. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. About 550 students from colleges in Kansas and Oklahoma are competing in their second competition of the year. Events include riders having to stay on a bucking bull, horse, or other animal for at least 8 seconds. Performances are at 7 tonight, and 2 of them are on Saturday afternoon. Entry is $10 and open to the public. Now, if you have enjoyed this KXII 12 News Now, we will be here Monday, same time, 12:30, same place. Our KXII live streams and YouTube Live, whichever way you're watching, we hope that you'll be back here on Monday. Now, still want more Channel 12? I can't blame you. Still, you can tune in later today for the 4, 5, 6, and 10. Now, wish that any of these stories had more detail? Well, all you need to do is go to KXII.com to find all of our full coverage of everything. Also, don't forget to follow us on all of our socials. That's Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, TikTok, and of course, like I mentioned, YouTube. There you'll find constant updates and exclusive content and all of our stories, old and new. Now, until Monday, I hope that all of you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you again soon, Texoma.